This is the As Raw Walk and Talk. And I'm here to talk about Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. And to explain what it was, I had to look up a word. I had to practice it. I had to make sure I was saying it correctly. But what I described that night as, and I think it's a perfect word for it, is agatho-caco-logical. And that's not 3 words I just said right now. That's one. I just had to break it up like that so I can spit it out correctly. But that's what it was. And what that word is, it's the mixture and combination, right, of showing duality of both goodness and evilness. It's the showing the perfections and imperfections of something in one thing. And the reason why I use that word and why I describe what happened that night for Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou is what led to it. Right? If you look at Francis Ngannou and where he comes from, right? And he came from the UFC. And he came from a thing where they told him to shut up, sit down, and do what he's told, right? He came from a thing where they said, you can't make any more money than what we're offering you. Even though we're printing money, we're not going to give you any more. And there's nothing to debate. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to negotiate. You got Ngannou, who wasn't just asking for more money for himself, but was asking for more money for everyone else, who was asking for insurance for the fighters. This is a person that went to negotiations that are hard enough to get yourself paid, but to improve everybody else's position with the company. This is a guy that saw boxing as a dream because he saw what the potential was, right? Where the fighter was the most important part of the whole situation. Where the fighter had the power to really change his life in one night. And that's what he dreamed for, right? That's what he fought for. And when he got to boxing and he got to that situation, he came prepared, right? To deliver because he had finally received the possibility, the dream, to get these massive paydays, to be appreciated as a star and be appreciated for the product you're going to deliver. So he came ready. He came ready to deliver, right? And that's what boxing has to offer. Now you look at the other side, right? The imperfection side of it, and that's Tyson Fury. Now Tyson Fury was a great story. Has star power. Larger than life. And he can do whatever he wants. No one can tell him what to do. No one can tell him who to fight. Hell, he fought Chisora again for like the 4th time. And most of those weren't close fights. No one was asking for it, but he did it. Because he had full freedom. No one could tell him anything. So he got to do whatever the hell he wanted. And what that led to was him not respecting the sport anymore. That led him to not taking the sport seriously. Led him to not training. And led him to fighting Francis Ngannou for a lot of money. With all the freedom, with no one telling him anything. And him not coming in serious to fight. Because why would he? That's why I use that word. Because you have what boxing is, right? What it offers. But you have what it could turn you into. But you also have a guy that shows why you work so hard to get there. That's what happened that night. One guy came with everything on the line to fight. He brought everything. He trained, he got ready, he put himself in position to succeed. One guy just got up to walk into the ring and thought his talent was going to carry him over. And he had to learn the hard way. They still saved him. They still saved him. They still saved Tyson Fury. They still saved him. But he knows, Francis Ngannou knows, who won that night. Now, do I think, this is the death of boxing and all these things? I think it's a real bad look for boxing. And I've already explained in a prior video that not because Francis Ngannou won. Not because he looked good. Not because that's the heavyweight champ of the world and this guy just fought for boxing for the first time. Boxing is, as far as what happens in the ring, not the judges, anything. But when it comes to these fists, it's a fair sport. If you can throw them, if you're prepared, if you're in shape, and you're ready to fight, you will have success. This is a fair sport. People think we got into this thing of boxing versus MMA and all these things, but really, I mean, let's be honest here. What really boxing is, right, is the art of these two hands. And however you place these hands on someone, if it leads to success, you're a boxer. That's the truth. But at least you need success. Francis Ngannou was had success. He proved that he belonged in that ring. And going forward, there should be no outrage if he fights anyone else in boxing. As far as I'm talking about the best guys in the world, Deontay Wilder's, Usyk, Joshua, or if it's a guy like Dillian White, Chisora, or even a lower level than that. Because he's in a spot where they all make sense. He needs more experience. That would make a lot of sense. Probably needs to get maybe a win under his belt to really build him up. But if he goes to Deontay Wilder, then hell, I'm okay with that too, because he just smacked around Tyson Fury. So I'm definitely okay with that. I'm definitely okay with him fighting Joshua. Now, do I think, these MMA guys are going to be able to come in and dominate boxing? No, I don't think that. I don't think one night proves that. Now, if you send a boxer into MMA, they're going to lose. If they go straight into with the best guys, they're going to lose a lot of the time, almost all the time. But there is going to be some instances where they catch a guy and put him to sleep. That one instance doesn't prove the whole argument. That's what people want. Everything is so what happened the last time I saw it. That's not the way it works. And I know that Francis Ngannou looked very good against Tyson Fury. But I know that when if he continues to box, right, and he keeps fighting top guys, I don't think the success is going to be continuous, right? And I think that when talking about boxing and at the highest level, and we need examples or is a guy going to come in? Is he going to be able to dominate like that? He'll take a really special guy. Now his power does equalize over skill and technique and ability, but his technique was decent versus Fury, so he deserves that credit. And he does have power, so he's going to be able to skip a few things, right, and get in there and be competitive. But I think if he finds the best guys in the world, he's probably going to take a lot of losses. I just think over time, like I said, class proves over time. That's just what it is. But you are going to have instances like this where you have these fights, these crossover fights, and you have these things where are cash, just paydays, and these guys are not taking serious. The boxers have not been taking these serious, right? And Tyson Fury definitely didn't take this serious. And you have a guy that comes in there that is hungry, does have power and everything like that, and there are going to be some moments like this where upsets are going to come. Because what usually leads to upsets? It's one guy not taking the fight serious. It's one guy not training. One guy coming in sloppy and underestimating his opponent. And that opponent, like Buster Douglas, having the best moment of his life in that night. That's a combination of what leads to massive upsets. That's what we saw. Now, I don't think, this proves boxing is a joke and boxing's dead and then anyone could do it. No, it doesn't prove that. But if people think that that's fine, time will prove over time, right? It'll prove over time what's real. And if we went right now, they said they signed the Ngannou Fury rematch. I'm gonna favor Fury because I think he's gonna get in shape and he's gonna take it serious to that point. The thing I was so mad about is they robbed Ngannou of his moment. That was his moment. That was his Trojan horse. He had got in and he fooled Tyson Fury into thinking this was a joke fight, and he was in there with a live dog and he couldn't keep up. But Tyson Fury comes in shape and he comes ready. I don't think Ngannou's gonna have all that success that he did in that fight. I don't. Now, like I said, that's why the rematch is so intriguing, because I know MMA fans, right, are gonna say, hell no, we just saw it. You try to get us like that the first fight, and that's true. That did happen. But I'm just saying, I've seen guys slip up like this before, and when they're top guys and you can see that they were not performing at the level that they did in previous fights, they can get it back if they take the gym and the opponent serious. But all that being said, all those are excuses. It doesn't matter. Ngannou, in that moment, he showed up. He said what he was going to do. What he told the UFC, what he told everyone, and what he fought for and what he stood for. He showed up. Tyson Fury didn't. Excuses out the window. You sign the dotted line, you step in that ring. That's what happened. Well, it doesn't matter going forward, whatever. That happened. Francis Ngannou in my opinion, beat the number one heavyweight in the world in boxing in his debut. That did happen. What happens next is very, very interesting. But I am very disappointed that they robbed him of his moment. Deuces.